All right. The only polling data that I trust as we head into November is the polls coming out of Rasmussen Report, and they just dropped their latest poll on both President Trump and Kamala Harris. And thankfully, President Trump is still 2 points over Kamala. He's at polling at 48%, while Kamala is polling at 46%. Now, interesting enough, folks, these two, it's getting kind of tight, I'd say. I don't even understand why it's this close. But that's just my bias at this point. But how are women, and this is going to be controversial, how are women, both married and unmarried, polling? Well, we've got an exclusive for you guys today because Rasmus Reports gave us this data just moments ago, and we're excited to drop it for you on this program. When it comes to unmarried women, Kamala Harris is leading over President Trump by 14 points. That's massive. But when it's married women, President Trump is leading by 14 points. That's pretty crazy, right? Joining us now to discuss the head pollster of Rasmussen Reports, Mark Mitchell, joins us now. Mark, thank you for giving us this data. I'm very excited about this because it's kind of controversial what we're about to talk about. Unmarried women are favoring Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, over President Trump by 14 points. But when you flip it to married women, they're favoring President Trump by 14 points over Kamala Harris. Seems kind of divisive.
It's really crazy. I'm happy you had us on to talk about it. We put a lot of polls out there, but we're always personally experimenting and looking for more signals. And I've been teasing this to my followers on Twitter for a long time, telling them that I've been meaning to do a video. And we have something super special to share later. But just talking about the national matchups, I made a video a week ago entitled Act of God. And that, quite frankly, is what I think Kamala Harris needs to win now because the race looks locked in. Like, listen, whether or not we're a point to the right or a point to the left, I personally have reasons I think that our polling might be underestimating Trump supports. That's all wishes and maybes. Right now, Trump is leading Kamala Harris by 2 points nationally, which is still like a major crushing win for him in a way that he hasn't in the previous two cycles. And other pollsters are believing with us. We have CNN that only has Trump down 1 point nationally. I think the New York Times has him tie. Atlas Intel's got Trump +3 nationally. They're a very well-respected pollster. And the other thing is that all of the internals are kind of like steady. I'm still getting black voters high 20s, Hispanic voters roughly tie. Independents are going almost 10 points to Trump in our poll. And again, it's the entire industry is just setting themselves up for some people to get egg on their face because there's people like us that have Trump either tied to up, and then there's everybody else attached to a mainstream media organization who has Kamala Harris winning from 4 to 6 points. And it's getting really close to the election now. So they're either going to have to decide to move back to the right like they should be, or, just they keep doing what they're trying to do and hold her Real Clear Politics aggregate up, or maybe just duck out for the rest of the time. But I mean, it looks set barring some kind of black swan. We just put state numbers out too. I also think are probably two left. And they show Trump, everybody's talking about how North Carolina might be a tie. Nope, we have Trump up 3. Everybody talks about how Virginia is like a solid Dem win. Well, we got it at the margin of error, Harris +3. Everything else is in the middle, which means essentially a statistical tie. But it all comes down to new voter turnout. I don't think anybody in their polls are really picking up the pulse of what is happening with new voters. Not even us. My polls in the States only had 4 to 6% new voters. We may see a big wave of first-time voters, and if that happens, Trump's probably going to win them all.
Well, that's really interesting, I have to say, Mark, because again, we're watching as some of the other pollsters are coming out with this data that just to me is just absurd. And you're actually, I have to say, Mark, I'm seeing your polls everywhere these days. I know I just saw Tulsi Gabbard actually tweeting out one of your polls as well recently.
Oh,
And oh, you didn't know that?
no, I'll have to look it up. Cool.
Yes. She just, I want to say 2 days ago, she tweeted out on X and she cited Rasmussen. And I was really proud of you because, well, I've been trusting your polling data for years now. And I'm excited that everyone else is like promoting it because it's really the only one that's always consistent. And it's disappointing. I mean, we talked about it last time too, and everyone was loving it, but you guys are polling every day. And that's what's so important about this. And it's consistent. We're seeing, just consistency across your polls. And that's what gives you guys so much credit. And speaking of credit, there's issues that I actually am very passionate about. And obviously, as a dog owner, this is one of them. I wanted to know, and you have thankfully done all the polling on this, and thank you for giving us this exclusive look into this as to where married and unmarried men fall, and married and unmarried women fall who own dogs. This is important. So, when it comes to married men who own dogs, oh my gosh, they are actually more favorable when it comes to voting for Kamala Harris at 56%, Donald Trump 44%. Unmarried men who own dogs, or a dog, I should say, they're only polling about 40% for Kamala Harris and 51% for Donald Trump. But married women with dogs are at almost 40% for Kamala Harris and 57% for Donald Trump. Unmarried women with dogs are polling at 53% for Kamala Harris and 39% for Donald Trump. Now, if you're at home and you're wondering, well, what about the cat owners? We're not going to leave those out either. So, for cat owners, for men who own cats, which I don't understand how that happens, but for married men who own cats, 48% are more likely to kind of support Kamala Harris, according to the polling data that you've taken. 52% for Donald Trump. Unmarried men who own cats, they're at 47%, while President Trump, they're supporting him by at least 48%. Married women with cats, 48.69%. Kamala Harris, 51% Donald Trump. Unmarried women with cats, here's the big bombshell,
There it
folks.
is.
Listen close.
There it is.
65% for Kamala Harris, 29% for President Trump. All right, that's a lot of numbers to kind of dig through. We've even got you guys some AI images that I think are very credible, so we're going to put those on air. But Mark, walk us through
Yeah.
this polling data because this is important.
Yeah, people are going to want to screen cap that. And listen, we have our normal way of cutting data, but I'm always experimenting because I want to understand what's going on. And I've seen a lot of people conjecture about this election and how it hinges on unmarried women. And, I actually found something that was more predictive. And quite frankly, it had more to do with the pets that people say they own than other stuff. People said unmarried white liberal women. I actually found that it was minority women that were way more left. But here, and listen, with the dog owners, I don't know how much of that you can blame on the dogs, because there is a really interesting signal. Married and unmarried men. Married men, it's a wash. They're tied, Harris and Trump. But unmarried men are super based. They go Trump by 13 points. But it's a complete opposite with women. Married women go Trump by 14 points, and unmarried women go Harris by 14 points. But then we got to the dog ownership. And when you look at your dog and cat ownership, when you look at dogs, married women with dogs, 57 to 40, they go 17 points Trump, but the unmarried men with dogs go 11 points Trump. And it's like the opposite with women, but they're among cat owners. With every single person that owns a cat, it's like a wash, except for the single cat ladies. They're unbelievably Harris, more than anyone else in the poll, and almost as much as Democrats. That's right, the signal of Trump Harris among unmarried Catwoman is almost as powerful as among Democrats. 36 points Harris wins by. And it's like such a simple thing. And I'm happy. It was a eureka moment. Some follower on Twitter was like, hey, it must be Catwoman. I'm like, hey, wait, I actually just polled those questions and there they are. So I don't think anybody's going to see this anywhere else. It's the only kind of numbers that somebody who polls every day can put out. New York Times is not putting out enough polling to be able to really put their finger on the pulse of the Toxoplasma Gandhi vote. I think that's what it is.
I love it though. I love it though because so many women got really angry over they still get angry over the cat comments, but it's not something that's not factually backed up now. You've given us the data to be able to defend our arguments on this front. And it shows widely. I mean, unmarried women with cats, 65% of them are favorable to Kamala Harris. I don't blame the cats either on that front, though. It's not their fault that their owners have bad taste. So, again, we won't blame them. But, Mark, I'm loving this polling data that you've put out there. So, thank you for doing so. I want to remind our audience that you break all of these things down over on your YouTube channel. So, head on over to Rasmussen Reports. Follow the YouTube channel if you like data like this, because you're not going to see this anywhere else. And that's why it's so important to give you that follow. Mark, thank you for joining us. Thank you for doing this for us. And thank you for like literally bringing this to our show because there's nobody else who would have done this for us. So thank you. We appreciate it.
No, the polling doesn't exist anywhere else. I'm definitely putting this interview on YouTube so people can come check it out. And listen, like we're open to suggestions. If you think you have a signal, I mean, this one's crazy. It's even a bigger signal than whether people say they go to church or not. Like there's something about the cats. It's so strange. But yeah,
It
love
is.
to have everybody following us, and thanks so much.
Yes, yeah, it is strange. We'll get to the bottom of that. Maybe that's another discussion that we need to have as to why cat women love Kamala Harris so much. There might be something there. So thank you, Mark. All right, I've got a suggestion. Hear me out. What if you could support two great causes while getting ahead of your Christmas shopping? Well, if that sounds good to you, I've got a plan for you. MyPillow.com has a great sale going on right now, and Mike Lindell is a supporter of this show. So you'd be helping us out and you'd be helping Mike out by heading on over right now and getting some of your Christmas shopping done. Why not start in advance? Plus, he has great deals going on right now. So when you use promo code BRE, that's promo code BRE, you're going to snag this great deal. He's got his pillows, the pillows you love so much at new lows. Take a look at this. He's got the standard pillows for $14.88. He's got the Queen, $18.88, King, $19.88. Are you noticing a theme here, folks? So if you are looking to stock up, head over to mypillow.com, use promo code BRE. Plus, he has his $25 extravaganza still going on. Now, the only way you could snag these deals is with that promo code. So make sure you use promo code BRE. That's promo code BRE at checkout.